Can you explain a little bit why, if you're such a fan of the law, why you think bar associations may be part of the problem? And then maybe you can talk about some of the reform, that you've been seeing in certain jurisdictions that might help solve the problem that you're talking about.
Sure. So let's take that from where we started with it. There's an economic demand for law, right? It's a really important economic input. I mean, and we know this actually from looking around the world and seeing countries that have difficulty getting out of poverty and growth. We all say we know that's a problem. Well, they don't have good contract law, they don't have reliable property law, they don't have consumer protection. So we all know that law is critical to the efficacy of the way our economies work and then our societies more generally. And so I want to put it in the framework of an economic demand to say, so how is that law being produced? Right? In what ways is it responding? Is the supply side responding to the evolving and changing demand for what we need from law? So the critique that I go through in the book is to say, where we've ended up is that the production system, the supply side for law, has become a really closed system. And it's not really open to innovation and ideas from outside of the small group of people who teach law. And I sort of say, look, everybody involved in law is trained exactly in the same way. Everybody went to law school. Everybody, passed a bar exam and got accredited. Most lawyers spend all their days working with other lawyers and talking to other lawyers. It's a very close system. That's not really good for innovation, right? We know that what drives innovation is diversity and alternative thinking and parallel processing. So the reason I kind of give lawyers a hard time here, and it's really just the legal profession, and there's lots of reasons why we ended up here, is to say we've now established our legal profession as something kind of entirely owned by that group of people who went to law school and became lawyers. And so I think one of the key things we need to do in order to get our legal systems to respond better to the dramatic ways in which the economy is changing, society is changing, is to open that up. So it's true, we need mechanisms to make sure that consumers are protected in the market for legal services. But we are actually not, our regulatory system for law, the Bar Association Law Society model, is not actually well adapted to that. And so the recommendation I'm making on that with respect to how can we open up the market for legal goods and services is to say, well, let's take the consumer protection concern seriously, and let's regulate for that. Let's do that on an evidence basis. Let's actually track that. And I've recently gotten involved in an initiative in Utah, which has been the first state or province in North America to take this tack to say we need to focus more specifically on how do we protect consumers, and not assume that what we need is that everybody who has gone to law school, passed a bar exam, that's the only way or most effective way to protect consumers.